Have you ever noticed how you naturally start copying someone's body language when you really connect with them? Or how uncomfortable it feels when someone's energy is completely out of sync with yours? That's your brain's inbuilt rapport system at work, and understanding it can completely change your interactions. I'm Mark, and today we're going to dive in to one of NLP's least understood techniques for building rapport. It's called mirroring, and you may have dismissed it as manipulative copying, or thought it would make you look like a weirdo, but the real science behind rapport building is quite interesting, and it can be a very ethical thing to do. Let's start off by exploring what's actually happening in your brain when you connect with someone. First of all, let's clear up a massive misconception. When people hear about mirroring, they think it means copying the other person's every move like a bad mime. That's not mirroring, that's mimicry. And yeah, it's probably going to feel kind of creepy because it is kind of creepy. Real mirroring is about understanding and working with your brain's natural synchronization systems. Not conscious copying, but creating the conditions where natural rapport can emerge. Bad mirroring is going to be mechanical and obvious to spot. Real mirroring, good mirroring, is going to enable you to cultivate real chemistry with everyone you meet. Mirroring is something you do automatically when you really connect with someone. Have you ever been on a date with someone that you really felt a connection to and noticed that you mirrored them? You pick up your knife and fork at the same time, you have a drink at the same time. When we're mirroring, we're just going to facilitate that natural process. The foundation of mirroring lies in mirror neurons. These are brain cells that fire when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing an action. An Italian neuroscientist whose name I'm not going to pronounce discovered mirror neurons in the 1990s. He was studying macaque monkeys, I believe. The researchers found that mirror neurons would fire not just when a monkey grabbed a peanut, but when another monkey observed a monkey grab a peanut. The same things would happen in the observing monkey's brain. It was as though the observing monkey's brain was simulating the action they'd observed. Humans have extensive mirror neuron systems throughout our brains. They're located in areas responsible for movement, emotion, and even intention. It's because of these mirror neurons that you might wince when you see someone get hurt, or immediately smile back when someone smiles at you. Research has shown that people with more developed mirror neurons are better at connecting with others. So your brain is literally designed to sync up with other people's. But mirror neurons are just the beginning. There's something called behavioral synchrony. This is the tendency for people to unconsciously coordinate their movements, speech patterns, and even breathing when they're in rapport. Studies have been done using motion capture equipment, and they've shown that people will mirror each other within milliseconds when they feel connected to each other, when they're in rapport with each other. People will lean forward at the same time. Their speech will become synchronized. They'll even blink at the same rate as the other person. They'll even blink at the same time as the person they're in rapport with. A study by Stanford researchers showed that when people walked in sync, they were more likely to cooperate and help each other afterwards. Physical collaboration, physical synchronization literally creates psychological connection. This is your nervous system's way of saying we're safe together. When you're in rapport with someone, when you have this kind of connection with someone, when your mirror neurons are firing together, your stress hormones will reduce, and social bonding hormones such as oxytocin, they are going to increase. There's also something called emotional contagion. That's the ability to catch other people's emotions. So this is mirroring at the feeling level, and it's incredibly powerful. If you want to make other people, again, if you want to make other people like you, make yourself feel good, your state will project. That will make the people you're connecting to feel good, and people will think to themselves afterwards, wow, I really like that person. I want to spend more time with them. Research shows that within milliseconds of seeing someone's facial expression, your facial muscles are going to start to mimic it. You're not aware of this micro mimicry, but it sends signals to your brain as to what emotion you should be feeling. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed the vibe? That's why MRI studies have shown that when we observe someone experiencing an emotion, the same neural networks will fire in our own brains. So this is scientifically proven. Mirroring is a scientifically proven concept. Some people are mood hoovers. They unconsciously broadcast negative emotions that other people pick up. So how do you use this knowledge effectively and ethically? Here's the key. Instead of copying someone else's behaviors, match their energy and communication style. If someone speaks slowly and thoughtfully, you want to slow down your pace. If they're animated and energetic, you can increase your energy. By doing this, you're adapting to the other person's communication preferences, and that makes them feel understood. You can also mirror someone's language patterns. If someone uses visual language, like, I can see what you're saying. If someone uses kinesthetic language, says, I feel really down, you might say, I feel you. If someone uses auditory kind of language, you might say, I hear you. Match the other person's level of formality, their pace, and their tone. But do it gradually and authentically. When you do this right, the other person is going to feel like you really get each other. You're going to build really strong rapport with them. Once you get more advanced at this, you can start to use what is known as crossover mirroring. So you don't copy the other person exactly. You might match their hand gestures by nodding your head. You might match their speech rhythm with your breathing patterns. This creates unconscious synchrony without obvious copying. You might tap your foot at the same time they're tapping their hands. You want to match their rhythm. If someone is speaking in a particular cadence, you might nod your head along with their speech rhythm. This technique is going to be particularly useful in professional settings when obvious mirroring isn't going to be seen as professional, but you still want to build rapport. Mirroring becomes manipulative when you use it to deceive or take advantage of someone. When you use these techniques, always do it for mutual gain. Don't do it with the, thinking, what can I get from this? And if you're, thinking all about yourself, it's going to create an uncanny valley effect, and the other person is going to actually pick up on that. They're going to become very uncomfortable with you. It just won't work. So you have to use these techniques with good intention. You have to approach other people with unconditional, positive regard without judging or looking for what you can gain. Ask yourself, am I doing this to better understand and connect with the other person? Or am I trying to manipulate them into doing something that's not in their best interests? Good rapport building enhances authentic communication. There might be times when mirroring is going to backfire. If someone is in a negative state, if they're angry or depressed, you don't want to mirror that directly. Instead, you want to acknowledge their state, but lead them towards a more resourceful, nicer one. You might start by matching the other person's concern level, saying, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. And then move them towards a more solution-focused state. This is called pacing and leading, which I discuss on both of my courses, Hypnotic Conversations and Effortless Conversations. I'm going to place a link to them in the description below, so check them out. If you like this video, found it useful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.